Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me here today. Hope you've had a good week. Appreciate you joining me now. If you want to follow along, we will be in the 26th chapter of the book of Genesis, beginning in verse 7, as the late Yogi Berra of the Yankees, New York Yankees, used to say, deja vu all over again. Second verse, same as the first. Quite a few sayings that, like father, like son, quite a few sayings come to mind here in this passage. Here we see in verse 7, it says, when the men of the place asked him about his wife, he said, she is my sister. We've heard that before. For he feared to say, my wife, thinking lest the men of the place should kill me because of Rebekah, because she was attractive in appearance. When he had been there a long time, Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked out of a window and saw Isaac laughing with Rebekah, his wife. And so Abimelech called Isaac and said, behold, she is your wife. How then could you say she is my sister? Isaac said to him, because I thought, lest I die because of her. Abimelech said, what is this you have done to us? One of the people might easily have lain with your wife, and you would have brought guilt upon us. So Abimelech warned all the people, saying, well, whoever touches this man or his wife shall surely be put to death. Isaac, we see something about his faith, his confidence in God, but more we see his lack of faith, his lack of confidence in God, and his fear and his selfish nature. And you may say, where was he selfish? Well, in his action. He is thinking only of himself. By telling this lie, if people thought Rebekah was his wife, they may kill Isaac to get Rebekah. But by thinking she was his sister, they wouldn't need to kill Isaac. They'd just take Rebekah. So either way, Rebekah could be in trouble. Isaac is just protecting his own skin. But then later we see when Abimelech finds out of the lie, he says, you have put me and my people in danger. He seems to have more morals than Isaac does. He says, if one of my people would have taken your wife, then that could have brought shame, guilt on our whole nation, and so on everybody involved. Isaac, again, he's put his wife at danger. He's basically still put himself at danger. What happens if they find out about it? He's still in danger. But this story is a perfect example of what happens when you start living and acting like the world, because he has not went on into the promised land, because he is there. He's compromising his position. He's compromising his stand, and as the Bible tells us later, be sure your sin will find you out, because eventually Isaac's sin is caught, as Abimelech looks out one day and sees Isaac snuggling, evidently. Somehow the Bible says here that they were laughing, but snuggling. It was obvious there was something there, and Abimelech put two and two together. And so now Isaac, like his father, has been shamed, embarrassed for endangering himself, his wife, the king, the people, so we see the danger of the sin. The interesting thing is we see that it's Abimelech who fixes the problem. It wasn't even Isaac who dealt with the issue. But then there's a lot of lessons in this little story. The final lesson I'd point out to you is how God is still, even just like he has done with Isaac and with Abraham in the past, God is still protecting his promise. even for this, for the generations, for the nation to be pure, for the nations to carry on as God had promised Abraham. Then Rebekah would have to remain pure. Their descendants would have to remain pure. And so God is still, in spite of Isaac's sin, in spite of Abraham's sin in the past, God is still being true to His word. And what a comfort that is to you and I. I know that pretty much every day I give God a reason, at least one, usually more, of why He wouldn't have to be faithful to me. But thank God He is. He is faithful and just. He is true. He is trustworthy, even when we are not. What a great promise today. You think about it. Have a great day. We'll see you here tomorrow morning.